Hi everyone, welcome back to Christopher's Models and Dioramas. Remember, if you like what you see, hit the like and subscribe button. This is a nearly complete project that started from the start to finish. You've seen I've made a lot of improvements and made a few changes. How I made the small trees is how I corrected the big tree in the last video. It's not difficult to do. All you need is some spray glue, your regular flocking, and you can fill in the gaps exactly the same way. Now, as for the ground terrain, that's what I'm getting ready to show you. There are lots of different ways you can do that, but the way I do it, so that it actually comes out and looks really good, is that I take regular clear glue and I just make a small trail of it like this, how I need it. Slightly wet with just regular run-of-the-mill everyday water. Damp and not get some of the moisture off, and then I just take the slightly damp with just water, not rubbing alcohol or anything fancy, and then I just rub the glue around like that. I'm not worried about bald spots in this, not a whole lot, because I can always go back over and fill that in with later on with just a little bit of a spray glue, and go back at it using the same mixture as I told you about last time, using the inexpensive seasonings you can get from any kind of major retail store, or you can go and any hobby store should have a particular type of flocking that you're looking for. Now, I always mix mine up with parsley, oregano, ground mint, and a little bit of dill, and some really fine chopped bay leaves to give it the leaf effect. And then I always add the medium green Model Railroad flocking. It's a real fine powder. It comes in different shades. Sometimes you can even get kind that has a yellow tint to it. You want to add like a flowery look to it. And then after I rub the glue on, I just take and sprinkle this along the edge, and I'll make sure I get it really covered really good. That way it'll fill in really nice, like that. Now, the advantages of using this stuff is that it will last for a really long time. And if you mix it just right, it'll actually have a texture like a floor of a forest or a meadow. You can go later on and change some of this and add tall grass. And I'm getting ready to show you how I make the tall grass and add it to here. It's really easy, and it solves a lot of problems, really. Now I'm going to put it on here kind of liberally, as they would say. Then, using a piece of sponge, or in my case, some PVA foam, I'm going to take and just press this all around. That way you can press your ground clutter or flocking into the glue, and you can make sure it gets in there just right. Now you don't want to put a lot of pressure in it. Matter of fact, so that way you don't wind up crushing it and squishing it everywhere like that. Now, as for the tall grass, I always take and I use this. This is baling twine. Farmers have it all over the place. You can go to hardware stores and feed stores, and you can buy a bunch of bundles like that. Or you can go to craft and hobby stores, and sometimes they'll sell them in rolls. Now, using my elephant as a guide, I want to try to make it to right about there, which means I'm going to take and I'm going to trim that off to right there. Sharp pair of scissors. Take and hold it between your fingers like that, sort of like cutting hair from a mustache or so on and so forth, and just give it a good nip, just like that. Taking some of your, where my glue ran off to, glue, add just a bit into a small spot that you can use later on, that you can use and repeat later. Set it to the side for just a second. Take that twine and you want to measure it out. It's about like that. This is in tufts, tall grass, and it's kind of like grows up in bundles. I'll set it over here to the edge. Just like that. Now this is the tricky part. This stuff does not like to be cut all that even. Now you want to try to roll it just like that. Pick off any strays at the end. Kind of arch it out. Take your glue and just dip it into about maybe 1/10 of where it should go. Don't worry about the excess. That's not going to be a problem. Then you're going to just take it and you put it in just like that. Put this wherever you need to have it put. If you want to put it near a boulder, you can do it exactly like that. Now the great thing about doing it like that is that it basically spreads out on its own. Now you'll have to come back later and set it up to where it won't be slightly spread out everywhere. And you can do this repeatedly in different places, which is fine. You're going to want to do that. But a lot of people struggle with this. They have a difficult time trying to figure out exactly where to put everything, where they want to do it. But don't forget, you want to recheck with your figures too. That way, you don't want them to get in some of the detail. Okay. Now, you can do that repeatedly, different places throughout the area. Just let it stand. You can make entire rows of it or in clumps, but that's how you do that. Now, one of the things you want to watch out for when you're doing this is, and you don't really need to worry a whole lot about it, this isn't something about perfection. You don't want to go overboard in the detail, because sometimes you can get so focused on one particular spot, one particular part of the project, that you forget to stop and pause and look at what you're doing and go back over your notes or check with your figures. And the military calls it target blindness. You're so fixated on one thing that you forget about to check the other spots. So it doesn't hurt. And I've cautioned others about it, to go back and look at what you're doing and check the, like for small bald spots or areas where you might not have paid as much attention to as you should. Now, as for this bundle of trees right here, these are palm fronds. You can buy them online, and you can use them for any kind of scale that you want to use for jungle and other interesting projects like that. They've been expensive. I think I paid $10 for a bunch, and this is the last of them. You can trim them with what you need. Now, for other plant life details, this little doodad right here is actually part of an aquarium set. I bought it in a bulk for maybe $6. They come with a whole bunch of other plants, and you can actually use this to your jungle set as well, or any kind of, well, you just want to add a little something extra to your project. You can just take it, put it wherever you feel it, you would think it'd look good, you know, doesn't matter, it's up to you, be creative. And there you go. Well, for the most part. And once the glue sets, if you can ever get it to stop acting like a slightly inebriated, there. You have another addition to it. Don't be afraid to get creative and think outside the box in your builds. And remember, if you like the videos, hit like and subscribe, and to share whatever media platform you like. Take care, and remember, if you're not getting messy, you're not having enough fun.